A phone glows on your desk in the dark once. Her name sits there on the screen, like a demand. You are tired, behind on work, reaching for the call anyway. In the attention economy, every vibration feels like a duty to respond. Mirror. Plato would say 3 voices speak inside you now, arguing. One wants comfort, one wants her praise, one watches from the back. When the hungry one rules, your response windows scatter without resistance. You give your hours away, like coins thrown from balconies to strangers. Walk. Notifications stack like dust on the shelves of your day. Social proof whispers that an instant response means you are worthy. Standard. A man who gives time to everyone lives gateless and drained. Any message that walks in, nothing precious stays guarded long inside. She learns that your boundaries are soft and that your mission can be easily postponed whenever needed. In dating dynamics, constant yes makes your throne and chessboard look empty. Choose. You think answering at any hour proves you care about her feelings. She reads it as you abandoning masculine sovereignty for quick approval. You see availability as kindness. Your calendar already confesses surrender. Picture one chat you always answer. Admit that was choice, not fate. Enforce. Plato imagines you as a whole living city inside. Streets of impulse, markets of craving, a quiet council. When wrong voices rule, response windows belong to whoever shouts. In this attention economy, pings try to sit on your throne. Standard. In Plato's just city, reason rules and appetite serves. You feel it whenever you ignore deep work for chatting. You trade masculine sovereignty for a pulse of social proof. You think your problem is with women. It is a lack of authority. Mirror. Leaders in his stories are trained behind firm boundaries. Not every citizen walks in. Access is earned. Ancient schools kept hours, like gates, closing at dusk. You treat response windows as random. She feels structure she cannot trust. Enforce. Your calendar looks less like a city, more like scattered squares. Notifications crowd, messages stack, dating dynamics rewiring your nerves. Each unplanned yes melts a piece in the forge. Chess pieces spin because you never decide what stays still. Choose. For Plato, guarding time is not productivity, but justice. Each hour takes its place under one clear ruler. Your rules you live by decide who gets minutes, not urgency. You mistake guilt for goodness when you respond to everything first. Standard. Modern dating dynamics make a mission-shaped day quiet and gravity. She reads a guarded schedule as proof you belong somewhere. When your hours orbit purpose, boundaries feel like solid home walls. You treat structure as prison. She experiences steady ground. Mirror. If your time were a city, who would rule it? Picture the answer written across your notifications and your sleep. Write one honest line about who commands your hours now. Let the words unsettle you before we talk about the trap. Enforce. Once you see your time as a city, patterns sharpen. You notice each time you open response windows to please. You feel how quickly respect erodes when everyone walks in. Now you're ready to see the trap you choose. Walk. Plato starts with a dark room where shadows dance on a stone. You treat her notifications like omens, not simple blinking icons. Typing bubbles feel like truth. Response windows feel like morality. In this attention economy, every ping pretends to be destiny. Most people in Plato's cave never question the wall. You rarely question why you answer messages before you even think. You chase likeness over respect, hunger over masculine sovereignty. You think her interest is light. It might be only a shadow. You crave her constant presence, so you offer constant availability. Instant replies become the rules you live without ever deciding. In dating dynamics, quick answers look like devotion inside your head. To her, they advertise the scarcity of purpose and self-respect. Plato would say, a lower part now grabs the wheel. The impulsive voice sprints whenever your phone lights up. You react like a chess piece, moving only when pushed. You turn your calendar into a mirror for her moods. You think her late message is romance written in blue text. She might be testing whether sleep or boundaries matter to you. You read every typing bubble as an emergency in need of your repair. She reads your instant compliance as proof that you have nowhere else to go. The more your time bends, the more leverage you surrender. She learns your boundaries are ornaments, not real walls of stone. Under incentives, she keeps pulling because you keep stepping closer. You volunteer for a role where her impulses write your schedule. Plato's cave crowd mocks the one who looks away from the shadows. You fear that if you pause, the whole show disappears forever. You prefer flickering attention to the discomfort of sitting with yourself. You mistake noise for proof that your life still matters. Name one recurring situation where her message pulls you from work. Please write what you usually sacrifice. Then admit it was still chosen. You are not helpless here. You are practiced in surrender. The trap ends the first time you notice and choose. Plato says you do not simply fall into patterns inside. You choose a kind of life, then walk it repeatedly. Each yes lays another stone in that same worn road. You keep building a house you swear you hate inside. In his stories, careless souls pick lupine without thinking much. They suffer from their choices more than from any luck. You think she is the problem. Your pattern is, instead. You live by the rules you never dared to speak. In this attention economy, temptations arrive wrapped as harmless pings. Each buzz offers a tiny hit of feeling wanted again. You still tap accept when your body begs for rest. You act like a drafted soldier, not a volunteer inside. Every time you're late replying, you cancel answering her fast anyway. Every plan you drop for last-minute dating dynamics again. You teach her that boundaries never apply to your time. You sign the same contract in smaller and smaller print. Her behavior becomes a mirror for how you price your hours. You think she disrespects you. Your calendar confesses something deeper. You blame her for the chaos. You authored most of it. Masculine sovereignty dissolves whenever you trade mission for reassurance inside. Each yes hands her your crown for one more evening. The throne stays empty while your thumbs race across glass. You rehearse a story in which you are a prisoner, not a builder. You keep handing over the keys again. Think of one woman or situation in which you feel used. Replay the scenes where you hurry to keep her pleased. Whisper once, "I agreed to these terms," under your breath. Let the mirror show how often you quietly abandon yourself. Once you see that you volunteered, the storyline cracks open. She may not change, but you stop playing the confused victim. You start treating your hours as scarce, not endless sacrifice. Now you can deliberately move toward a standard you choose. Plato says a good life is measured, not frantic. Desires line up with what gives a soul weight. When each desire knows its response window, harmony starts quietly. Your time becomes music instead of noise without rhythm. You feel the difference when silence has shape and measure inside. In this attention economy, scarcity is rare and strange. Everyone is reachable. Nothing feels special, and boundaries blur quickly. You answer every message, every notification, every soft ping. Desire flattens because you are always there, never missing a beat. Plato would call that a disordered chorus of appetites. You chase connection by deleting every gap between messages. You fear that saying "I am busy" will break her. You forget that masculine sovereignty needs hours no one can touch. Look at chess and the way the king moves. You do not drag him around to feel important. Every step is chosen, response windows guarded by other pieces. Your calendar should move like that, deliberate and slow. Philosophers and rulers in Plato's world kept strict routines. Students came to them at set times, not whenever they were lonely. Scarcity of access made presence feel like an earned privilege. You think constant texting builds intimacy. It often drowns longing. You forget that boundaries create contrast, and contrast keeps desire breathing. In modern dating dynamics, some women feel your gravity. She watches to see whether work, training, and rest still orbit your center. If you cancel those commitments for her moods, gravity disappears. Your life looks like pieces spinning, not a steady forge. The paradox is that limits make dating dynamics feel more alive. When you protect work blocks, conversations gain depth and color. When you log off on purpose, she feels your return. Boundaries turn hours into something carved, not spilt. Choose one daily block that stays phone-free, no exceptions. Write it into your calendar as a rule you live by. Guard it, even when she calls, texts, or hints. Seeing this paradox is easy. Living it keeps your standard. Mirror. Plato imagines the freed prisoner stumbling out of the cave. You feel the same dizziness when you answer more slowly on purpose. The glow of chats fades, and the room feels wider. You thought noise was friendship. Now the silence feels like failure. At first, the new light hurts your untrained eyes. Guarding time feels wrong, like breaking a promise you never spoke. Group chats call you dry. Your response windows are no longer instant. You think pushback means you are wrong, not that you are changed. Plato says the prisoner initially doubts what he sees. You doubt your own boundaries the moment someone calls you distant. In this attention economy, constant presence looked like kindness in your mind. You start to taste that it was the fear of being forgotten. Friends notice when you stop replying to fill your evenings. Some accuse you of acting cold or above them now. You mistake their discomfort for proof that your masculine sovereignty is selfish. They are just used to you sacrificing hours without ever naming it. The mirror of solitude begins to reflect your true self. Without her messages, you finally hear your own voice speak. You see how much of the dating dynamics was you begging. You were asking not, "Do I want her?" but, "Am I still wanted?" Thinkers who structured days for work were called distant and strange. You join that lineage the moment you protect deep focus. The quiet courtyard of your schedule becomes a forge for standards. You learn that boundaries cost you some people and return your backbone. One woman or friend will complain when you answer more slowly than before. Decide now that you will not sprint back to please them. Let their reaction reveal who loved access, not you. You are not abandoning love, only abandoning chaos. You choose boundaries that let your attention breathe again. This is the descent Plato expected from a freed prisoner. Leaving the cave of constant reply hurts, but frees you to enforce. Plato's ruler is not a mood, but a patient training. He learns to love what strengthens the inner city. He says no easily when an offer weakens the order. Stances are the quiet rules you live by in your hours online. In this attention economy, drift is the default setting. You wake and let notifications script your whole day, unchallenged. You think you are choosing. You are reacting to pressure. Sovereignty begins when you pre-decide where attention belongs each week. Plato would shape your calendar like a disciplined city. Work has its quarter. Training has its field. Rest has its garden. Each has guarded response windows, not constantly open gates. You become reliable because your priorities stand in formation. A stance is not a line you recite to her. It is a way your day refuses to collapse under the weight of notifications. You think stances are games. Here, they reveal your values. You believe structure will trap you. It frees a deeper presence. During deep work, the phone is off, not nearby in another room. Messages wait until the king has finished his move. In dating dynamics, she feels that your life has gravity. Your masculine sovereignty appears without speech, only in the consistent absence and return. Plato's city also makes space for silence and reflection. Later, Jung echoes this, calling it becoming a more whole person. The forge of alone hours burns off weak compulsions and excuses. You stop begging for contact because you respect your own scarcity and real boundaries around time. Serious students shaped romance around fixed study. Training came before endless flirting from boredom. Now you place gym, work, and sleep into dark blocks. She can visit the throne room, but never rearrange it. You choose invitations that fit inside those boundaries, without apology. Choose one stance before this day ends and write it down. A daily focus block, or no last-minute Friday plans. Put it somewhere you must see before unlocking your phone. Once your stances are set, you can read her reactions and walk. Plato imagines a just city where each part stands firm. Relationships echo that city when each person holds their place. You are not her servant. You are a citizen with duties. When you hold boundaries, you show her where you actually stand. In that Plato city, visitors adapt to rhythms already set. They do not rewrite the law whenever they feel like visiting. You think every test is an attack against you personally. Sometimes, she quietly asks whether this structure is fundamental. In the attention economy, chaos is the default pressure around you. Stories online praise constant availability and endless texting in dating dynamics. You treat being always reachable as proof of your caring. She feels like walking through a house with no walls. Plato would say, harmony means each role knows its limits. You stand as the one who guards the hours and gates. She is the one who decides whether to enter respectfully. Your time is the fortress. You are not the doorman. You think setting response windows is cruel or manipulative to her. Often, it makes her feel safer inside clear, predictable boundaries. You see her pulling away as proof you failed again. It can be a gift, showing that values do not match early. Plato's harmony means souls attract matching partners. You do not need tricks, only steady boundaries. Some women relax when your fortress stays firm. Her reaction is a mirror of her pattern, not a verdict. Your reaction is a mirror of your masculine sovereignty. You either crumble and chase, or stay seated on your throne. You mistake compliance for kindness when you abandon what matters to you. Next time a plan ignores your commitments, stay calm in the moment. Say, that does not work for me. Here is what does. Let the silence stretch. Watch who can adapt without drama. When you see tests as data, guarding time becomes a mission. Choose. Plato ends with the question of what your life serves. He says everything clarifies when you aim at the highest good. Guarded hours become servants of that one clear direction for you. Your calendar stops chasing moods and starts reflecting a mission. In the attention economy, your hours are hunted and bought. Apps and people compete to own each response window. You thought this was about playing hard to get. It is about building masculine sovereignty around what deserves sacrifice. Philosophers and leaders were remembered for the hours they spent. They guarded time for study, training, and the city's needs. Men who chased every pleasure left nothing solid behind them. You mistake compliance for kindness. It only weakens your boundaries. Think of your day as a small kingdom you steward. The throne is your focus, not her following message. Dating dynamics fall into place around that still center. Your scarcity is absolute when you protect deep work and rest. Within 24 hours, audit last week without self-pity. Mark every hour you gave away to low respect. Notice more clearly where the attention economy dragged you away from real priorities. You see that disrespect lives wherever your rules vanish. Within 48 hours, block 2 non-negotiable focus windows. Add 1 block for training or actual rest, not scrolling. Let these become the forge where new standards grow hotter. Treat interruptions as visitors, not as kings who override everything. Within 72 hours, choose 1 calm boundary conversation or message. Say you are less available, then offer specific times. You believe that her respect comes first in dating dynamics. It usually grows from the respect you show for your own hours. Guarding time will not make you cold or unreachable. It will make your presence weighted when you choose to offer. You thought you wanted her respect. You needed your own. You want to look back and know your hours served standard.